Hello, welcome back. We're playing with the inside left panel of our album. So this is what we're going to get to cover up this chipboard right here. All right, so this, I already stuck this down, I apologize. But this is the piece that I chose. The back side of it is this whitewash wood, but I wanted the floral accent. And I was trying to determine what the size of a pocket I could get away with on here, and so I went ahead and glued it down, or taped it down. From the scraps off of this cut, I think this is in the upper left corner, and I'm putting that down here. But before we get any farther, our base page is going to measure, let me get this up here so you can see it, is going to measure at 7 5/8 across, and then it's going to measure at 7 7/8 in the height. So I cut this, I wanted a pocket here. So this pocket, I don't know if you can see this, but it's 4 1/4 across and 4 inches high. And then I have a strand of some really 3 millimeter pearls that I'm going to put across the top of this. And then I've taken one of the cutout cards, and it's called Follow Your Dreams, and this is going to go right in here. Now you'll still have some room if you want to put a committed photo underneath of this. You can even put a photo here if you choose. I'm just going to leave this the way that it is because I like the floral accent. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these two pieces together. And now this piece I just trimmed down, but the cardstock is 3 5/8 across and then 5 inches high. And this will give you a photo that you can put a photo on the back side of this. So I'm going to put this down on the side that I have the pencil marks so that I don't end up selling this to somebody and they're going, oh, I'm supposed to put a photo there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and tuck this in here. And then I'm going to take this little card, and I always trim to fit, so across 4 1/8 and then 3 7/8 in the height. And I'm just going to glue it down. I'm going to try to play with all the chipboards in kind of a bold fashion. You'll see what I do. And because there's some big elements in the chipboard. All right. So we've got this put together, and now I'm going to put down the small little pearls that I have. Just across the top there. Okay, we're going to play with 2 of our flaps. We're going to play with our left and our right side flaps. They are both the same. So you're going to want 2 of these. They're at 5 1/2 inches. by 7 7/8, and then you're going to score it at 1/2. So 5 1/2 by 7 7/8, and then you're going to score it at 1/2. I don't know that you can see my pencil, so maybe it's not worth me trying to put that on there, but you're going to have 2 of these. Okay, that one's down. And then this one's going, and I am rounding my corners. Well, that didn't go on there very straight, did it? Well, for crying out loud. This wants to make a mess of things. Just turn over there. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Cut this off. All right, there we go. I'll manage to get it done. All right, now we'll turn it over and we'll put its matching half on this side. All right, so we've got those on. Now we're going to add our outside panels. So this panel is going to measure at 4 7/8 across by 7 7/8. The height will be a constant. So 4 7/8 across. You're going to score it at 1/2 inch, and then you're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch. And then this is going to wrap around that 1/2 inch piece that you just put on there. And for it to wrap, you're going to come right up to the 5/8 score mark so that it puts this gusset here on the end. I'm just going to push back a little bit to remind that gusset it's got a job to do. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side. The other side is going to measure 6 inches across by 7 7/8. And then you're doing a 1/2 inch score and you're doing a 5/8 of an inch score. And then that's going to wrap around that 1/2 inch piece we just put on. All right. So this flap is going to go under, and I'll show you why. I want the big flap under, the small flap up on the top. All right, so this side right here, you're going to cut a piece of cardstock that's going to measure 1.5 inches by 7 7/8. And it's going to go right here. All right, I'm going to tape it on. And I'm just using a little bit of tape because we're going to make a pocket and I want to manage the pocket to its fullest capacity. So then we run that up there. We got ourselves a pocket. Now, you have a, I think it goes this way, no. Oh, wrong side. You have a 12 by 12 piece that has this beautiful floral pattern on it. And then it has on the upper left, it has this little leafy, it reminds me of those silver dollar trees, silver dollar plants. So that's over here. So this is going to be on the outside. You're going to cut it to fit. And then this piece here is a little bit bigger, but you're going to cut this first. So it's going to go over the pocket right here. And then this piece, which is what you separated away, is going to come right up to that pocket edge. You're just going to right up next to it, and then that keeps the flow of this floral here, that keeps the flow of that going. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on. Oh, my glue plugged up. Get that cleaned out of there. Okay, let's try this again. And lay this down so that it's fairly even, or as even as I can get it. Now I'm going to take this, and like I said, I'm just going to butt right up next to the cardstock. And I've rounded my corners. I have inked my edges using Tim Holtz Gathered Twigs out of his Distress line. I'm trying to match my floral stems up as best as possible. Lay this down. Okay, that flap is done. And you can see that we have a pocket. We're going to play with some graphic 45 tags. And what we're going to do is those large chipboard pieces, we're going to put them on the front of the tag, and there's enough to do the front of the next 6 signatures that we're going to be doing, because you've got 4 in the center, and then you got the right and the left panel. So how this, I'm hoping this works. The reason I want this on the bottom and this on the top is that this is going to come in here in the pocket, and that's what's going to keep this closed. Okay? I think it's going to work. I want to play with some of those graphic 45 tags, and I thought this would be a great collection once I saw how big those chipboard pieces were. I just thought they might be a great combination. Now, Scrap and Create has them in stock. I did check with her, and the last I heard, they have the die. Hold on just a second. That they did have this die in stock to cut the paper to fit onto these cards. All right, so now I'm going to, oh, the thing I was going to do here on the outside of this pocket so that it's easy to see and identify is I'm putting a strand of pearls. But I'm using bigger ones, not the little ones. Little one's going to go right there. And I'm going to put the big ones here so that it really focuses on the pocket we've made. And I don't want big ones over here because then this isn't going to lay nicely, but I want to be able to identify both of those. So I'm going to go ahead and put this, oh, it's not coming off on one run. Oh no, let me put this back on there. Let's go try the other end. It's going to be disappointing if I have to take all these off one by one. I do. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. This is not what I had planned. It's like the... All right, so I'm going to do just a few of these right at the moment. These are 5mm pearl, flat back pearls. I got them from Michael's. They're in the Recollection collection. And I'm going to do these, but I'm going to do them after the signature is done because you don't need to see me peel these off. They're not, the adhesive isn't peeling away underneath of them. And so that means I'm going to have to glue each one of these down. So hopefully yours sets better. I am keeping my fingers. See, this is what it's supposed to do. Okay, so we're going to come here just inside. I don't want to cover up the blue cardstock. And I have an extra one here at the top. So I will save this for something special. And I know just what it's going to be. Okay, so took this. This is coming very nicely from some of the scraps. You can see how large some of the scraps are going to be. So running that through and putting the die. Then I've inked my edges. I've added a little ribbon to match the pearlies. And I do want to ink the edges of these larger chipboard pieces, so it's not going to take me very long. These are easy. I just don't like white edges, so if I can kind of cover them up a little bit, then it makes me happy. All right, so I can put it here with the paper in the background as an accent, or I can leave this alone for a photo and put this on this side. But I don't think that's as attractive. So this side should be for your photo, for your journaling, and you can then size to fit. And this is going to be on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run some tape on this because they're thick and they're heavy, and I want to make sure that they make really good contact with the card. looking back at you, getting your photo. So then this is going to go in here, and that's going to be your, for your closure. So I'm going to put that aside, and then we're going to open this up, and we're going to play in here. So for these panels, oh no, put that back on, get back on it. I'll deal with it in a minute. All right, so you have a wood panel, 12 by 12, pull it out, and then you have a piece that has these crystals, maybe snowflakes. They're blue. This is a blue and kind of a grayish blue and white. And then on the other side, you have this big star. So we're going to cut panels off of these. So for the inside, I want the wood. And that's going to be the same for both sides. And I'll slide this over here, make sure we're in frame. So we've got these, they're in here, they're going to be accented, and then we're going to take a 1 1/4 inch strip on both sides, and we're going to put a piece of the blue paper that's coming off of this cut, and then I cut a flower, and we're going to center it right there. So let's get the other images out here. Oh, and that's where I gotta fix this. Just a second. I had a, oh no. I'm probably gonna have to glue that one back in place. So underneath the floral though will be a thin ribbon of the flat back pearls, so that we'll pop this up just a little bit because it's going to be glued down here, so it's going to lean against the pearls. And then we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to be careful this time. Over here, I've taken, this time, that was a blue flower. For this side over here, I am using a pink flower. So we can go ahead and get these put together. I'm going to glue this down. And then I'm using just a thin strip of tape. So I want to, so 7, so say it's 8, so it's 4. So I'm going to put that right about there. Oh, I'm such a dingling. All right, so we should have sort of the same. I'm about 3 1/2 right there. 3 1/4, so this could come down a little bit, but I'm not going to fuss over it. But I do want to make sure it's on their level. And then a blue strip is what's coming off of the one of the front panels. Now we'll see what happens to that gem. It may have to be glued on. Okay, and it's right there, but I think once I get this on there, it might help hold it. Okay, so I'm going to glue here. Just right at the base. Press that down, and the gem line behind it, which is not straight. Oh, I just blew it. Okay, I'm leaving it. I'm not pecking at this because they're coming off. Okay, putting it right back there. I'll just have to be more careful. Okay, so now that stands up and it looks like that flower is just unfolding. Now we're going to do the same thing over here. Gosh, this is so pretty. I'll get to play with that here pretty soon. Now, I've got 4 packs of paper. After you pull out all of the cut aparts and the cards that you can cut out, you should have in those 4 packs 5. Take all of your pattern paper, lay them out. There should be enough to do all 6 signatures, and each signature has 5 sheets of paper. You'll have the base. You're going to have this flap. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and here's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to be playing with a pattern similar to this. There's be some variations, some change-ups, but you're going to have 5 sheets per signature to play with. So if you want to go ahead and set some time aside to kind of get them sorted out, that way you know what you have there to mess with. Okay, so I do want this to be somewhat the same visual. I'm personally going to drop this down just a bit. Sorry, I have to pick this up, make sure I'm getting this on here level. And then my blue strip. And now we'll put this little pearl line in. That one does not want to. There we go. I'm going to try and get that. Sorry if my head's in the camera. I really apologize. It wanted to come off anyway, so there. putting in this pink flower, and it's just going to be these two bottom leaves right here that I'm going to be tacking down. And again, it gives the illusion that the flowers are up. Now we're going to close this. And then we have that blue piece that I told you to grab. And then in your scraps, you should have a piece of this that's about 2.5 inches wide. You're going to cut 1-inch strips, 2 of them, because these are going to sit here on the edge. We're going to run tape down down the edge, 3 edges, and then in your cut-aparts, because you've got several sheets of the cut-aparts, I cut into 2 of them to get the same size of twig-shaped heart. And then I picked 2 pink butterflies, and then these extra pearls that I have over here that I've been snipping off. I am going to take one and put it right there for the body of the butterfly. So I'm going to just close that for now and play with one side at a time. Now you're going to notice a little bit of a push back. I got to pick this up on this panel because of this. So just keep that in mind. It's okay. You've got some height behind this. And then I'm going to glue this and attach it. So these are 1 inches. So I'm kind of guessing. I can measure here for you how wide this band, that blue cardstock band, needs to be. It's probably going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 1 1/8, might be a little bit more. 1 1/4. Oh, I did put tape down the center of this. That's not quite what I had in mind, but it'll work. So I'm just going to come off this edge here just a little bit so that there's some color accent behind there. And then I'm just going to kind of glue down the center of the heart. Be mindful when you put this down that you're not getting into that gusset. So you're going to have it hanging over here just a little bit. And I'm just going to glue the center of the body and the wings, and then I'm just going to put this right over that. There we go. So that's what we have on this side. We got ourselves a nice little tuck. So now let's move over here and we will do the same. Just slid that all over the place and I got glue everywhere. glue this together. Oh, that's interesting. But I've already got it glued down, so there's not much I can do. So again, just come all the way down here at the bottom, but just a little bit away from that edge. And then our other twig heart. And then our other butterfly, and I gotta put the gem on this one. Excuse the reach. There we go. All right, so now those are done, and you've got a nice tuck here. So now we're going to play with these internal panels. You have a 12 by 12 that has this beautiful, it matches its blue version of the brown on the back of the album. So you have this beautiful blue landscape. So in order to maximize as much as you can, cut left to right. So measure from your left side to the right side, make your tick marks here, and then you've got that piece done. And then this piece, you'll do the same thing, but the opposite direction. You're going to measure from the right over to the left. So you're going to put your paper down, make your tick marks so that you're cutting here. So you're going to have a strip about yay big that's left over. I want to emphasize the smoky look of the mountains. Now, you can put a photo there, or you can leave them. You can journal on the top of this page. It would make a great for a outdoor photo here with this underneath of it. And then I took, oops, oh, there it is. I fussy cut some flowers and backed them onto cardstock because I want to make a tuck up here. So I'm going to glue along these edges here at the top, and then you can come in and tuck up underneath here. So I'm just going to glue these guys. Press that down just a little bit. And you have a nice tuck. All right, so let's go over here to this side, and we're going to put this piece down. And then I did the same here. I took a spray and I'm just going to glue across here, across the top, so that you can come up underneath of this as a tuck. And I'm just going to put that right there. Okay. So for you, you're done. I'm not, because I have to address this. Not your fault, not my fault. It's the fault of the product. But so there we go. A little bit of a rise here, but once we start getting other pages in, this is all going to eventually relax and flatten down. So let's turn it over. And let's get some tape on the back. We're going to put it in the album. And then I'm going to go fix my little pearls. Oh, I just saw a couple of things that I meant to add. I was not very organized on my tabletop here, so things are everywhere. So I'll show you here in a minute. I know where one's got to go, but I've just got to remember where the other one is. What my thought process was. At least I'm honest. I'm not. Okay, I had this little tag that says "Life is Simple." I wanted to put that right there. So I'm going to glue this down. I offered that up as a photo, and that's not what I intended. Life is simple. I don't know. I had this one out, but I don't know what I was going to do with it, so I'll figure it out later. You can also run these this way. Makes for a little tighter look. All right, let's put it in the album. So this is going to come and sit in here like so. And I will also point out to you that my very early cuttings, in fact, it came off the base page on this signature. I cut 3/8, a half, 3/8, 3/8, a half, 3/8, 3/8, a half, and 3/8. So that they're kind of my guide. First off, this one covers up the gusset. But these two, the 3/8, are my guide to make sure that I'm not encroaching in here on the gusset. So I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to remove this one. Oh, come on. This one and this one. I'm going to come right to the end here, and then I'm going to look and make sure that I'm evenly spaced top to bottom and that I'm straight. And then I think I'm straight, commit. I'm off a little bit, but I'm not going to worry about it. Take the rest of my tape off. And I won't give this thing a good burnish. I'm going to do it that way. All right, we're done. We'll be back for this one. Until then, bye-bye.